Hi, welcome to Marky Mark's Woodshop 101. I'm Amber.
And I'm Mark, and this is the Wood Shop. And today we're going to update you on the progress on our mission style secretary. So we've got the first work surface glued up and pretty much ready to go other than final sanding. And it will go over here and fold down, which I can't do because it's too crowded at the moment, but hopefully you get the idea. And to match that, I've glued up a second set of hickories, and that will be the work surface inside the unit, and it will be fastened in there, so that won't be movable. So this is kind of halfway made up. I just glued up the pieces. The next thing we need to do is I'm going to scrape the glue lines off, clean up the edges on the table saw, come back and put ends on either side. Kind of out of hickory, so I'm going to use the alder, which will also wrap it. And that'll look fine. So let's have at it. For scraping the glue lines out, I use a paint scraper. And one of the great things about paint scrapers, it's actually a good woodworking tool. You can set it on the bandsaw, band sander or belt sander, whatever you got, and sharpen it. And it makes a great tool for getting glue squeeze out off very quickly. And you want that off because when you sand it, it'll clog your sandpaper. And in the case of a belt sander or a drum sander or any other kind of machine, the sandpaper can get a little pricey, so you want to extend the life of it. And this goes very quick. And we're pretty much done. In Maryland, we use these for boat scrapers, scraping the barnacles off of the bottom of boats. Fun job. So what I'm doing here is just establishing a straight edge that I want to cut. Set up my sled, or sliding table more accurately. Good. That worked out very well. So what we just did was cut a straight edge because during the glue up the boards were kind of up and down to exaggerate it. And you can see on this one here that illustrates it perfectly. And that worked out very well. We have a clean cut, it's straight, and it's perpendicular to our end. That worked out so well, I'm going to flip it over and do it to the other side after I mark it. I'm using this to test for square. Perfect. So now we're square. So there are other ways you could have done it. You could have used a joiner, which is less successful on end grain than it is on long grain. You could have used a hand plane. Again, you'd need a specialized hand plane, a low angle tool because of the end grain as opposed to the long grain. So for me, I could most easily and quickly do it on the table saw, as you saw, taking advantage of my sliding table. Otherwise it would have been significantly harder. Another way to do it would be to use a sled. It would have to be awful big. But if you're just starting out, you probably don't have a joiner, and maybe not even a joiner plane. They stopped making those a long time ago, and even if you do find them, they're going to be dear. So the table saw is probably the most expedient way to go, and there's some other ways to get a straight edge without having the sliding table. You would have another board clamping this piece down so it would go through without moving or relying on the fence, because the problem is, as you go along the fence, if the board's uneven, it's going to cut like that, which of course is what we're trying to get rid of. So this is now ready to glue up the end pieces. Let's go back over to the workbench. A piece of alder to either end to the dimensions we want, so it'll fit inside of our carcass and I can attach it. And we used biscuits to join it together like the hickory. And you notice this big bucket, it is full of chain. I weight down glue ups because as you clamp something, if you apply enough force, no matter what it is, it's going to buckle. This will keep it flat and straight. So while that dries, so next time we'll have to attach the breadboards and do our final finishing on it. And in the next video I've got another piece of alder that I'm going to have to run through, and it's a little bit thick, so it needs to be planed down just a skosh, sanded, clean up our edges, and also rip it in half. So that'll become our breadboards. So we have that to do next time. And our drawers that we need to make faces for. So I've got a couple pieces of alder, and what we're going to do is rip those in half, glue them together, so we'll have a face for those, and of course cut them to size and shape them and do whatever we want to the edges. So we've got to do that too. So that'll be next. That'll involve some band sawing and gluing up and clamping and figuring out what kind of edge I want to put on it. So make sure to subscribe so you can see all these good things that are yet to come. And of course finishing up our next glue up. So leave a comment, hit the like button, and we'll see you again. Thanks for watching.